Hello and welcome to another video tutorial. Today we'll be looking at animation, and we will be using Adobe Animate for creating all animations that we'll be doing in this tutorial. So if you open Adobe Animate for the first time, this is the interface you're going to see. In some cases you have a blank, like a blank space, just black. And so you go to File, and then click on New or Control N, or you just come here, click on Create, right? So you click on Create, and then you create or you launch screen option. So the screen options we have here is either HTML5 Canvas or the action script. So mostly the most common for web is the HTML5, and then the action script is mostly for interactive content. There are a few others that can also be used, but for the purposes of our video, we'll just limit ourselves to HTML5 Canva. So we're going to just click on this again and click on create, because we want to keep the dimension to the default 640 by 480. All right, so if you open Adobe Animate and or you launch a new screen for the first time, this is what you are going to see. So to the middle part here, you have the white center area, referred to as a stage. So the white center area here is what we'll be animating, and is referred to as the stage. To the far left, we have the two panels, and then to the far right, we have what is referred to as the properties panels. Below it, we have the timeline, also referred to as the bottom panel. Right above, we have the menu bar, which has file, edit, view, insert, modify, text, command, control, debug, window, and help. Right. So a quick one here. Now, assuming you are working on the stage and you, for example, goes into the properties panel, and then probably you drag out color, and then you drag out library, and you drag out a line. So like everything is just messed up on the stage. The way to reset it back to default is to go to Windows, window right here, and come to Workspace, okay? And then click on Reset Basic. And so, are you sure you want to reset? Just click on Yes, and everything will just fall back in place like it was before. So the stage is just this white rectangular area that you're going to do all your animations, and that is very crucial. So if I click on the property panel, you will notice that by default I have 640 by 480 pixels right here. Okay, and the color of the background here is white, which can be changed to any other color that we are interested in. So within the right hand property, we have other items that we can look at too. So we have what is referred to as the properties, and then these are basically the document settings, right? And then below it we have some advanced settings, which we just refer to as more settings, right? So if I click on the more settings here, um, what happens is that I have the option to choose either the unit of measurement of the page to either inches, decimals, point, centimeters, millimeters, but we'll keep it at pixels. Just click on OK. Now, equally, we can change the size of the stage here, right? So let's take an example here. We want to change the size to, let's say, 580 by 400 pixels. So all we do is just double click, or we click on more options, and then we can just change it here to 580 to 400. pixels right there, and then we click on OK. Now, equally, we can change the background color. So if you click on the color, which is right here, color box, which is next to the stage here, you notice that we have color pickers or a color picker. So the color picker is the one that is choosing the different colors. So as it move onto a different color, the stage color changes to whatever color you are interested in. Now, equally, we can type in a hexadecimal color for the stage. So again, with this, you just double click in there and then you change the color code to a hexadecimal color if that is what you are given. So let's say FF55 and let's say 58 or 59. Then that becomes the background color for the stage if that is what you've been given. So we're just going to keep it back to the default color, which is white, right? Now, again, we can change the frame rates. Okay, so here we have the frame rate, which is basically FPS, right? So the frame rate per second. So basically saying how many animations you can have, how many animations you can have within 1 second, or how many frames, sorry, how many frames you can have for 1 second. All right, so that's basically what the frame rate talks about. Okay. There are a few more calculations that can be done. We can equally change the frame rate here by just double clicking on it and then typing in either 12, 24, or 30. But depending on what we have, the frame rate may change slightly. Okay. So those are just some few guide on how the stage behaves. Right. Okay. So in addition to doing the frame rate per second, we can also equally some basic frame rates per second that you come across with 12, which is mostly used for cartoons, and then if you have 24, then we are looking at film, and then if you have 30, we are looking at videos, right? So but often case you may be given the frame rate. Now, in addition to doing the frame rate, we can also add some guides to help us animate. Right. So to do that, we do Control Alt Shift with the R. So when you do that, it brings up the ruler to both the top and side of the two panel. And then when you click on the ruler and drag it down, it gives you a guide. And you can drag the guide to specific distance on the stage. And I can do the same here and pull it, say, to 50, right? Um, Now, let's assume you are done with this and you want to hide them. The shortcut is Control the semicolon, right? But the ruler will still remain. If you want to get rid of it, you go back to View and then you click on the rulers, or again Control Alt Shift R to bring it back. To take it away, Control Alt Shift R. Okay, so Control Alt Shift R will take it away and bring it back. But the guidelines, you only take them out doing Control with a semicolon. All right, so the essence is just to help you place some items at specific point on stage, right? Or to snap some object on stage, or to snap a text on stage, right? So those are just basically the use of the guidelines. Okay, next we going to talk about the two panel, which is to my left, or the left side of the stage. The shortcuts, there's some shortcuts that are very useful here. So if you click on the letter V, it means you're using the selection tool. And obviously with the selection tool, if you have an object on stage, with the selection tool, then you are able to move the object around. However, with selecting objects, the first thing you need to do is if you want to select both. So if you want to select both the stroke and the fill, you double click before you move, right? But if you just click and move, what happens is that you're going to leave the stroke behind, whilst the fill is what will move away. So take note of that. So the vein selection tool is to move object around. Okay, another way is to highlight everything and then you can move it around. But if you're going to just click and move around, you need to double click. So you select, drag over, and then you can move them around. And that way you move the stroke together with the fill. Another tool we can make use of is the letter A. So that is for editing anchors. So this here, if there are some anchors in there, you can edit them. So rightly you can see I'm dragging from the corner of the um, rectangular 2 right here, and it's just changing form, right? So that is for editing. So letter A is to for sub selection or basically editing anchor points. We have the free transform 2, which is the letter Q. So if I click on the letter Q with the object being selected, I'll click on the letter Q, which is a free transform 2. So basically a free transform 2 is used to scale up or scale down the size of an object. You can also use it to rotate, right? Once you see the arrow in the curved position, you can use it to rotate the dimension. Or equally, you can use it to skew, right? So if again we have control key selected, I click on that and I click on that. If I drag it in, um, I can skew the shape to any position that I want, right? So I select by clicking on this anchor point, and you can skew it in there. So it means it's been rotated or skewed around that anchor point, right? So basically that is how the Q, which is a free transform tool, is being used. Then if you click on the letter N, we are talking of the line 2, which is used for drawing straight lines. So N, and so you just draw a straight line. Next is the drawing tools. The first on the line is the pen tool. So to get a pen tool, click on the letter P, which is just for drawing precise curves, right? So we just click on the line and then we draw in some curvy shapes right there. Okay. So basically that is the use of the pen tool. Then we have the brush tool, letter B, right? So with the brush tool, you draw and paint. So once you click on the letter B, it gives you the brush tool. And then again, you're able to paint around. Then O give us the oval tool, right? So that is pretty much the oval tool. T is for text, and you type in whatever you intend to type. Uh, Beside that, we have the color tool. So color tools on the property house part here, right? So we also have the color of the paint bucket here, and then the eyedrop here. But with the color tool, we're going to basically look at two parts here. So if we pick any shape at all, so for example, if I draw an oval, now this oval is made up of two parts, as I've already stated. It's made of the stroke, so which is basically the line. So if I want this line reduce, I'm going to click on the shape and reduce the stroke or make it bigger. And then the fill basically is the um, color in there. So right there is a color. So every shape basically has two properties, that is the stroke and then the fill. Right. So these are some key things that we need to pay attention to when we are animating. And then the final thing I want to touch on as far as the setup is concerned has to do with some troubleshooting. So let's assume you can see the property panel, right? So the property panels is missing. So you can see it. You go to Windows and click on Properties to bring it back. What if your stage is too tiny or too huge on the screen? You can just zoom in and zoom out, right? And so to do that, you can click on the Control key and the letter 3 to zoom in to fit the window, or you can simply do Control with a minus sign. Um, you hold the Control and then you scroll in with the mouse. Okay, so that is also another way to zoom in and zoom out. Another way is to do Control Z and Control 1. So often Control 1, Control 3, Control 0. So Control 0 will bring it back to the center of the stage. If you hold Control and scroll in the arrow, or you scroll on the mouse either up and down, you increase and decrease the item on the stage or the stage size. You increase the stage size. And then if you want it to fit the entire screen, you do Control 3. Um, Now, what if you can't see the correct document type? You can simply go to Modify and then you go to Document. So from Documents, you can change the document type to whatever you want, or you go to More Settings right here and brings you back to the same place. All right. So basically, these are some few tips you need to know as far as the animation interface is concerned and how to move around it. Um, we'll end this here and then we'll look at some other features in our next tutorial. Thank you.